Next up, we have JP Politikens Hus for a presentation on the development of Magna, a suite of editorial tools based on generative AI. And to present, please welcome Generative AI Product Manager at JP Politikens Hus, where he plays a pivotal role in the development of Magna, Thor Rik.
Hello. So I trust the sound is coming through. Yes, I'm going to present Magna and myself. My name is Thor Rik, and I'm the product manager for generative AI at the Department of AI at JP Politikens Hus. Also, I've been a part of Platform Intelligence in News, the project at Editorial with the generative AI. And we have done experimental projects within artificial intelligence since 2020 with financial support from the Innovation Fund Denmark and in cooperation with universities. And the reason I'm talking about both is because what I'm going to show you today is Magna, but Magna both in the form of what we've built for the whole house at JP Politikens Hus, but also what we've built for Editorial before that. So what is Magna? It's an abbreviation. It's for monitoring and the assisted generation of news artifacts. So we mainly just say Magna. The first iteration of Magna for the whole house at JP Politikens Hus is a chatbot built with the GPT-4 and 3.5. So we have made that available for everyone with a login at the JP Politikens House. We have done that through Microsoft Azure API, and that gives us a few advantages, such as the LLMs will not train on the uploaded data, and that our employees may use their own articles to upload into Magna. And also, they may upload personal protected data also. And importantly, we keep the data we get to see what's been used on, and we can use it to tune models and see what kind of custom tools we should be building afterwards. And then it's an API. The backend is so we can build it into anything, for instance, our CMS system if we want to do that. But first, I'm going to show you our front end, and it's a chatbot that you know from other places. We have every user has their own login. It's the login they already use at this house. And then we can see where they're from, and that's very important later on because we're going to make custom versions for Politikens and Jyllands-Posten and Ekstrabladet and all the other branches. It's for everyone to use, both journalists and developers and salespeople and so on, but it's mainly focused on the journalists. So we have put in questions for the journalists how to use this and suggestions for tasks that they can do with this. The questions are focused so they don't use the knowledge inside the model, but use it for facts, but use it for actions, and the tasks are like put in an article and get ideas for headlines, put in a press release and get that analyzed. We also have a tool for transcriptions, and you can put your transcription in here and then analyze it for themes and frames and so on. But what I have here is an example of how to use it with a press release. So I'm going on into the food administration, the Danish food administration. They have a press release about smileys. Smileys are those, when the administration goes out into restaurants and check the hygiene, then it will get a happy smiley or a sad smiley. So here's a prompt saying, here's a press release from the Danish food administration. Find 5 unanswered questions that I, as a journalist, can delve into. And then after that, I paste the press release, and it will get those 5 unanswered questions. So we use that as an example for the journalist to easily analyze stuff, perhaps find framings of the article, themes in the press release that they didn't think of or would be interested to cover. And when it's done, we have a possibility to give us feedback. It could be either be positive feedback here in green or red feedback, and we're really happy about that. Lots of our users use this to give us feedback. Yeah. And what else do we have? You can change the title to something more useful than just a few words in the line, saying here's a press release about smileys. And then that will be saved and then put into your history to the right. What else? We have guidelines here saying what you can put into Magna, and something about what we do with the data that we collect. And also we have a general feedback button that our user mainly use for giving us suggestions for what else to build into Magna. Yes, and then of course we have a profile where you can choose, you can see something about yourself and where you're from, and you can change to light theme if you want to do that. It just follows the system settings. So what interesting is what do we get from feedback for our users? And we found that for many of our users and employees at JP Politikens House, Magna is their first use of generative AI. So they get kind of the same experience that we got when ChatGPT went out. You could put in some text saying, I have this meeting tomorrow, please give me guidelines to what I could talk about. And we have some employees getting back to us saying that this is really amazing. Also, we have some employees using this as source for facts. So they're looking up persons, getting to know something about persons, or trying to get quotes from persons. And obviously, they shouldn't use language models for that. So we're going to follow up with education. But to begin with, we have put this out for everyone so they can familiarize themselves with what generative AI is. We can also see that there's a need for specialized tools that some of our journalists, they use this for headlines, and they see, well, it doesn't really have the tone of voice of my brand. Some use it for proofreading and say, well, I would like to track changes that it did. And some would like to have a file upload and chat with that, and some would like to have internet access. And that leads me to the next thing that I'm going to talk about, because we already built a custom tool for Ekstrabladet as a part of the PIN project. And that was built together with the journalists in workshops. And we found out which kind of tools could help them in everyday work, and did that through OpenAI API and the GPT-4 and the vector database. And it has inbuilt auto-evaluation and predefined prompts. And what's important about this is that is our stepping stone for the next generation of Magna that we're going to build for all the brands in the whole house. Because Magna for JP Politikens House is like a continuously iteration where we're going to build upon that. In Magna for Ekstrabladet, it has very robust system prompts and comprehensive dynamic chat prompts. And there's an example here. You can see it had lots of placeholders. We have a language guide where we have taken the language guide from Ekstrabladet and transformed that to something that's useful in a prompt session. Also, there's a style guide with points about what is Ekstrabladet for a kind of newspaper, what is the style of Ekstrabladet, which areas does Ekstrabladet focus on. And then it has automatic analysis of the input text to check which version, which section it belongs to, and then it will get a very good example of a real article from that section to learn from, and then it gets to write the article. We have three main groups of tools at Magna for Ekstrabladet. One of them is Ask the Archive, and that is first and foremost semantic search, where you can get to pose questions not normally possible in a normal search archive, not in our CMS system. So you can say something like, what have you written about violence in football games, or which positive or negative articles have you written about this person? And then the search will understand the meaning behind the question and find the articles that matches that. And then we have generative AI upon that, making it retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. And the tasks that you can do on the articles are like, you can get a fact box written from the content of the articles, or a case summary, or an article draft, and there's a free text field where you can write your own task. And what is important is that when those tasks are done, it's only from the text in the articles that it is found, and not from the training data of the model or anything outside. So this is an example. You can pose questions like, what are Barcelona's ups and downs in this season? You can choose a period matching the season, pressing a button, and you will immediately get 10 results, which are the articles that best answer that question. And you can click on the article and see that the text is there. Then you can choose our RAG options, draft article, case summary, fact box, or something like write an FAQ with 3 potential questions that you can answer from the search results and answer them briefly. And then it will connect to GPT-4 using the prompts behind those options, and then generate the text. So here we have the draft article generated, the case summary generated, the fact box, and the FAQ that I asked for. And in those examples, you can see references to the articles, so you can again click on those and see if the content is there matching. And you just show that there's an option for giving feedback again, and you can copy the text. So this shows that it's very easy to make the archive come alive and make you generate elements for the article that would take quite a long time to do yourself. So when I present this to our journalists, I usually say something about that this is like you have a coworker or a good friend. You can ask about anything, and from what we have written about any case, and then they will answer readily, and you might also get them to write something for you, perhaps in the style of an intern. Another group of tools is tools for articles, and we have 8 of those tools designed to assist the editorial staff in the creative processes and to simplify complex tasks. And the way you use them is that you just copy or paste text in, or that you use the article ID to retrieve the article or the draft article. We have a bullet point summary as in the style like Martin and Elin just showed us, and from Aftenbladet. And we have a shortened article. That's a feature that the journalists propose themselves. It's like when they have to hand in an article in a very short time, and it's too long, they have to shorten it in a hurry, and that goes through that. It reads the article line by line and chooses which lines could be omitted because they have lesser importance. And you choose the number of characters it should be shortened to, and this one has shortened it to 1,462. And then you get to see what has been removed. The same way it does proofreading, also a tool suggested by the journalists. They like this not only because it proofreads the text and corrects the spelling, but also because it does that in the style of Ekstrabladet language guide. So we have these dashes before our quotations, and numbers under 10 should be in letters and so on, and it checks for that too. And also, again, you can see what has been changed, so green is added and red is removed. And this is my text, it's not something the journalist did. Then we have rewrite to a final article, and that uses the extensive prompt that I showed you in the beginning. So you can put in just a few lines of text, not in the final order, for instance, and a few quotation marks, and then it will take that and write it into an article in the tone of voice of Ekstrabladet. We have headline suggestions, create a fact box from the content. That's useful. It's very fact-heavy content, of course, in a long article. We have improve article, and this one again doesn't change the order of the article. It just goes through every line of text and see if there's anything it could improve. Then we have find similar articles, uses our vector database again. The input is the original article, and it finds similar articles for that. And the third tool, that is for the live blogging. We have at Ekstrabladet journalists and experts that provide real-time updates on unfolding events. And that could be about sports or politics or crime or music. And when they do that, they continuously write a summary in the beginning of the article, because we have, for new users needs to have an overview of what happened so far. So that needs to be updated all the time. And it does that by reading all the chat so far and writes a bullet point summary. And at the same time, the headline should be updated to reflect the recent events in the chat. And then sometimes there are lots of questions by the readers. There could be hundreds of questions sometimes. So you need to identify the main themes and answer those questions for that theme, and we have a tool to identify that too. In the tool for Ekstrabladet, we also have ethical guidelines. So Ekstrabladet has developed a set of guidelines saying which that said it aligns, the output aligns with the standards of Ekstrabladet. So it's something about what can be put into Magna, and that each text generated by AI must be reviewed by a person who generated them, and also how the use of generative AI should be disclosed to our readers and when it should be. And we have inbuilt auto-evaluation. We have automatic evaluation matrices that assess each sentence. So it compares the input sentence with output sentences using sentence embeddings and cosine similarity. So that's about how far are the input text from the output text. And in the beginning, we showed this evaluation on the generations, but we found that this approach did not find any problems with factual accuracy. And then we looked at that and found that the reason for that could be several factors. It could be that the models really improved last year. It could be that the prompt is really robust. And also it could be, and we found that when we put data into the model and use the model to transform that data into something else, there are very few hallucinations compared to when you just ask the model about facts. Then we have learnings from Ekstrabladet that we're going to use in the Magna for the whole house. And we found that they especially use the improve and proofreading features and the shorten article feature. And we think that shows that it can be used as a co-worker. And they also use the headline suggestions tool. For the Ask the Archive, the semantic search with RAG, we found that journalists say that it's really easy to use, and they can use them to find connections between names and what we have written in the past. Also, we have found that when something is generated in this system for Magna, it's just finished, and sometimes they would like to modify it to shorten it, for instance. So there would like to be a chat feature to continue to do that. And most users are not really interested in modifying the prompt or the temperature. Some are, and they should be allowed to do that, but most of our users are not really interested in that. So that is the learnings that we're going to put into to Magna for the whole house. We're going to build in semantic search for other brands than Ekstrabladet, for other news brands. We're going to get even closer to the work processes and find out if we can customize and improve the tools even more, for instance, using tuning, fine-tuning of the models. We're going to go into other modalities, such as sound and image. Yes, that's it. And if you want to contact and connect, then follow me on LinkedIn. And you can do that with a QR code if you have the app open. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Tor. That's really impressive what you have built, I must say. You kind of developed an approach where the journalists don't have to kind of think of prompts themselves. What do you think you kind of lose in kind of the understanding of AI's possibilities and working with AI in that approach?
Yes, for Ekstrabladet, we built an approach where you don't use the prompt. You can open it and edit it if you want to. And I think that we should keep that option. Some places for the journalists who really would like to do that, but mostly we find that they just want a tool that helps them in their everyday work. So sometimes it takes a lot of prompt editing to get a really good approach, and that should not be laid onto the journalist to do that.
Okay. And then I was thinking, you talked a lot about the tone of voice of Ekstrabladet, that you could kind of have it write an article in the tone of voice. But if everyone does that from now on, then the tone of voice is kind of locked in, right? It will never develop, it will never change. This is the tone of voice of Ekstrabladet from now on then. Or?
This is solely done with prompt editing and few shot examples. If we combine it with tuning of models, then we can have several tunings, and of course you can have several prompts, so that can be changed as well. But of course that's.
But based on what?
Based on the different journalists, for instance.
Yeah, when they write them themselves.
Write. Yeah.
Okay. I have many questions, but do we have some in the room? Yes, we do. We have many as well. Do you want to throw the ball?
Oh, yeah.
Over here.
Okay.
We have a question, and we have here and here afterwards. Okay. Yes.
Thank you. Alexander from Aftonbladet. Impressive application. You collect the feedback in Magna. What else you collect from the user, and how you process this data for future improvements?
We keep all the generations in Magna. So we can see what they are using them on. When they do feedback on a specific task, we also have the feedback connected to that task. To begin with, we're going to use that to see what is it used for. Is there some kind of special tools that we need to develop to accommodate that task, to do it even better and more specialized? So that's the straightforward approach to that. They can be used for training and tuning as well, but we have not planned anything for that.
So you collect like user logs of the conversation somewhere?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We had a question over here. Can you pass the ball over here by the... Yeah, great.
Hello, Esa from Helsinki Sanomat. Very impressive presentation. Thank you. Can you describe the size of your team? How many people and developers you have working on Magna?
The whole AI team, that's going to be about 15 people in a moment. But when we look at Magna, then what we first did for Ekstrablad, that was mainly 3 persons. And when the Magna for the whole house, that is how many? 1, 2, 3, 4 persons, I think. Yeah.
And we had a question over here. Yes, we did. Can you pass? Great. Didn't hit the camera. That was great. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for a fascinating presentation. Now, I was wondering about adoption rate among the journalists and your onboarding process for them. Can you please just say a few words on that?
Yes, we haven't really done much of that yet, but we are definitely going to, especially when we build more tools into the Magna for the whole house. The initial approach for Ekstrablad was to reach out to a few super users and make them really happy about the project, then hoping that it will spread when their colleagues see that they can do something really great about it. But we're going to do education later on.
That was all the questions we had time for. Thank you so much for your presentation, Tor.